Good evening and welcome to Joy News Prime. In our headlines this hour, the directive to fix transmission losses of the Electricity Company of Ghana, as the Auditor General warns failure to reverse the trend may adversely impact on the finances of the power distributor.
Somebody like you with an internal rate of 30%, you should be swimming in cash. But what do we find? ECG is always probably in debt.
The Energy Minister has hit hard at the Electricity Company of Ghana as the company concedes it bought faulty prepaid meters and conductors worth 60 million Ghana cedis.
The customers are willing to pay for the services they consume. But we, the management, have been so bad at delivering something that even Ghanaians want.
Also tonight, Ghana Maritime Authority steps up surveillance at sea to curb maritime crimes.
Sea has become a topical issue within the sub-region. Now, to deal with this menace, the authority have put in place measures to ensure that the maritime domain is secure.
More piracy attacks in the Gulf of Guinea increases in recent times. Also on the Joy Clean Ghana campaign, officials of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly to conduct regular raids to prevent squatters from taking over the underbridge of the Kwame Nkrumah interchange.
To continue to pursue this exercise. No matter your structure, when we get you under the overpass, you are loitering around, walking around, we don't know what you're doing, we get you, we'll put you to work.
In business, inflation is on the rise again, hitting 9% in July. Statistical Service says hikes in food prices are a major trigger.
For the month of July 2021, referencing July 2020, stood at 9.0%, indicates that prices of goods and services over the one-year period, July 2020 and July 2021, have gone up.
I am Ernest Meno, and Joy News Prime is coming to you live from our studios at Fanofa at Kokomlemle here in Accra on your digital terrestrial TV, because we are free to air. We're on DSTV channel 421, GoTV 144. This is your home of independent, fearless, credible and impactful journalism. Stay tuned in. Hello again, many thanks for joining us. The Auditor General is warning the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, risks not being profitable and viable if immediate steps are not taken to reduce the transmission losses. The 2020 audited account identifies theft and high transmission losses for the loss in revenue. We'll bring you more on this shortly, but the ECG in the same report has admitted it bought faulty and not fit for purpose prepaid meters and also conducted valued at 60 million Ghana cedis. The Auditor General in the 2020 report of public boards, corporations and other statutory institutions is demanding the officer responsible for the procurement be held liable and made to pay the amount if the meters purchased 5 years ago are not deployed. My colleague Elton Bobe has been studying the report and filed this.
Section 7 of the Public Financial Management Act 2016 requires that a principal spending officer of a covered entity shall ensure the regularity and proper use of money appropriated in that covered entity. But according to the Auditor General, this provision was violated in the Electricity Company of Ghana decision to procure prepayment meters and hard-drawn aluminium bar-stranded conductors amounting to 59.1 million Ghana cedis between 2014 and 2016. However, these items were either partially issued or have not been issued at all, but are kept in the stores till date at the time of the audit. The lapse, according to the Auditor General, was as a result of the management failure to issue the old stock before purchasing new meters. It says huge capital investment had been locked up, which could have been used for other pressing needs of the company. The report recommends to management to ensure that the prepayment meters and conductors are issued out to the users, failing which the amount involved should be covered from the officer who engaged in the procurement. The Electricity Company of Ghana, in a response, admitted some technical challenges were identified during the initial stage of installation and as a result could not be used for the intended purpose. Management, according to the report, had before the audit visit constituted a committee to engage the suppliers on the identified technical challenges, and the report is with the board for the next line of action.
So as you heard in that report, the Auditor General is not happy with the ECG for allowing the meters to go waste. The Energy Minister is also unhappy and describes the development as a clear case of irresponsibility.
In my office daily, you hear MPs, go to your MP and let him write to the minister. So every day we receive about 3, 4, 5 requests. Give me 3,000 meters for my constituents. Every day. I'm checking, even though I'm an MP. It means two things. The constituents are willing, because they are all prepaid meters, the constituents are willing to pay for the services they consume. But we, the management, have been so bad at delivering something that even Ghanaians want. And prepayment is one example. They pay for the service before they use the service. And if the people who pay the service before they use the service are clamoring for meters, and ECG cannot deliver the meters, such that it says go to the minister, there's an abdication of responsibility. If nearly 30% of the electricity that is given to you is not accounted for through your sales, then just imagine every 1,200 or every 300 megawatts energy you claim to sell, you cannot account for nearly 100. Then it is the best business model ever, because such a company should never be in profit. Because your internal rate of return, I don't see a business that wants an internal rate of return 30% and would not be and a monopoly like you with an internal rate of 30%, you should be swimming in cash. But what do we find? ECG is always probably in debt. ECG, for the southern part of Ghana, Energy Commission has given you the license and a monopoly. Yet still, 30% of what you sell cannot account. So that mentality that we are ECG because we are a monopoly, whether we lose or not, we'll run back to the government because government doesn't like doing so, and we'll go back to the politicians. That inherent thought means that the politicians should be actively involved.
My colleague Elton Bowe joins me via Zoom with more on the findings. Elton, you have been looking at the findings and recommendation. What does the AG find specific to power losses and revenue?
So let's look at the reports, especially in Section 291. The report says that ECG, in its own strategic themes for the year 2020, said that it was going to improve network reliability, improve operational efficiency. It was also going to take aggressive system loss reduction and improve organizational culture. Now, ECG strategic plan, according to the Auditor General, is to reduce system loss to 17.5% by the end of 2020, but that is what we are seeing now. According to
Hello, Elton. Oh, I seem to have lost connection to my colleague Elton Bowe there, who was sharing us details of the Auditor General's report on the 2020 report of ECG. Elton, you mentioned their target was 17%. What did they reach eventually?
Yes, so at the end of 2020, at the time of the auditing, ECG could do 24%, which is far higher than the targeted 17% at the end of 2020. What this means is that they made a loss of 24% on their profit margin. And for the Auditor General, this will have a negative impact on the ECG's and ECG as a viable and a profitable company. And he cited transmission losses and electricity theft as the major cause for the 24% loss that ECG experienced in 2020. Now, the Auditor General is advising management to determine the losses which are due to technical and commercial challenges so as to deploy measures to reduce those losses. Now, ECG has also been saying that now what they're doing is to localize the losses. So they are looking at districts, they are looking at the regional level before they come to the national. And they've also acquired some analyzers and voltage recorders, power flow software that can handle modeling of both balanced and unbalanced loads that will help them address the issue of technical losses.
Elton, thank you very much for bringing us those details from the Auditor General's 2020 report on the Electricity Company of Ghana. Let's go on to the other Zoom connection now and speak to Kwame Jantua, who is an energy expert. We're grateful for your time here on Joy News Prime. Huge losses being brought to the fore by the Auditor General. Let's start with the transmission losses. Is it possible to achieve zero power loss, or there's an acceptable range within which the ECG can operate?
Good evening. There is definitely a certain range that you would lose some electricity, that is through transmission. But when you look at the kind of losses that we're experiencing, it's quite appalling. And ECG is just priming themselves up for privatization. And some of us who have discussed this privatization thing and stood by them, makes it very, very difficult for us to, support them when it comes up. Because looking at the kind of losses, you'd have thought by now they would have been able to clear out technical losses and commercial losses. But it looks as if they are still doing the same thing, and it doesn't bode well. It doesn't bode well at all. Something has to be done. And for me, I think Yoko should move in. Yoko should move in to see if there's any of the ECG staff who have connived. Because look, they gave out electrical materials amounting to 11.581 million CDs,
Indeed,
which was given on loan to 8 benefiting companies. What was that reason for? Yoko should move in and try and find out what has gone wrong. But I believe this is a recipe for privatization by the government.
On the issue of losses, for instance, at the commercial level, what can be done? Because technical losses are obviously due to technical reasons and perhaps would require some investment. But when it comes to the commercial, losses, how can we address this?
Within ECG, I'm sure they have a section that looks after collection of used power that they have supplied. Maybe we should look at how that should be. Maybe we should probably transfer it to a much efficient company. Maybe one of these audit firms, Pricewaterhouse or one of these audit firms, to actually collect, put it in place and collect, because they don't seem to be doing a good job in collection. And because they're not doing a good job in collection, it's affecting their revenue stream, which is not acceptable, because as it's affecting their revenue stream, it's going to affect the production of electricity too. And it's going to also bring doomsday back if we are not careful. So the whole value chain should be looked at. And anybody who's found culpable should be charged. Now, you asked the question, I asked myself the question, what is the responsibility of the board? Some say it's not an executive board. The fact that it's not an executive board doesn't mean they don't have responsibility to ECG. They have the right to question the chief executive of ECG if things aren't going right. That responsibility is on the board's head. So nobody can say that because they're the executive board, they can't answer these questions. Why did the president put them in? The president put them in to make sure that things are done right. And if things are done right, fingers should be pointed at the board too.
You are against privatization. You have stood by the ECG and advocated that they manage this by themselves and do so properly. With these revelations, do you stand by that, or you agree with those who say private sector participation is the ultimate solution?
I think if we're going to privatize, we should look at Ghana first. I am for, Ghanaians taking over some of these institutions, because what do we get? We get foreign companies in, and it's export of dollars. Those dollars can stay here if it's a Ghanaian company. And I would love that Ghanaian companies also build capacity. And there are companies in this country that can handle ECG. Let's look at them and bring them on the fore. And let's take politics out of it. Let's not say that, oh, they are not an MPP supporter, or they're not an NDC supporter. No, let's see how best we can get our own to handle such things and handle them properly and monitor and police them.
Hold the line for me, sir. You mentioned the board. Today, a newly constituted board was inaugurated by the Energy Minister, Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh. We're joined by a member of the board, Arno Dompre, who is also the Majority Chief Whip in Parliament. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on Johnny's Prime. Obvious revelations made today by the Minister, who expressed, his unhappiness about some of these revelations and then charged the board to address them. First of all, how are you receiving this? And what is your plan to correct some of these abnormalities or irregularities?
Okay, let me say that, first of all, there is a board there. I'm a member of the board, a number of other members of the board. The challenges bedeviling ECG is public. Okay, you can see the details are not known, but matters of related to debt, legacy debt, inefficiency, and the losses are all known. Okay. Now, this, if it is true as it's been told that the public Auditor General has captured these details, then that would issue there is a concern. I am aware of a scheduled board meeting, which is supposed to be the first board encounter mainly because it's captured as because there's an array of concerns that the board will have to look at. But because it's captured as a report of the Auditor General, we may have to prioritize and look at that also in perspective and take some action. I think it would not be lost on the board. It's something that will be looked at. There are also general concerns about the nature of meters that are installed and their quality and all that all comes in wake. So this may just be an aspect of the whole concerns about meters. And so I'm confident will be looked at in broader perspective.
Indeed, there are other areas, for instance, with the supply of materials that was done with no proper agreement. So, yes, you're right when you say there are other aspects that needs to be addressed. But there are recommendations as well, for instance, prosecution for officers involved in this. Is this something the board is keen on and getting management to implement? And the other recommendations about forming committees, audit committees, for instance, within the institution?
Well, I can tell you the president is very upbeat about the president, the minister, during the inauguration of the board, for instance. I have the minister loud and clear, and he is also somebody who is very deep into happenings at the ECG. And so it's not like we don't know what is happening. Once there's a recommendation coming from the Auditor General, it will have to be looked at because they are the professionals. And the Auditor General's report, normally has to come to Parliament. I don't know which of the report this revelation is coming from, but be that it may, I can tell you that we are not going to put this behind under the carpet. We are very resolved, determined to let ECG become what we are all desirous of seeing, because the lamentations, one after the other, is becoming unbecoming. And so the president has reposed confidence in us. Don't forget, the chairman, he was the chairman before, and for institutional memory and his capacity in financial management and the in-depth knowledge in the sector, it brings all these to wake. I am confident that something significant, there will be some changes.
Thank you very much.
Positively will reflect in the happenings at ECG.
We're grateful you could join us, sir. That is a member of the newly constituted board of the ECG, Frank Anadompre there. He's also the Majority Chief Whip in Parliament. Mr. Jantua, you're on the line with us. In 30 seconds, your reaction and final words.
I take what Mr. Dompre said, that it shouldn't be swept under the carpet. And we should try as much as possible not to get back to where ECG was, because it looks as if we're sliding back into the old ECG. And let's try and do things right, because power is development. Without power, we are not going anywhere.
Thank you very much. That's an energy expert, Mr. Kwame Jantua, joining us with his thoughts on the revelations made by the Auditor General on the Electricity Company of Ghana. And Mr. Anadompre is on the line just to give us some brief reaction. Mr. Anadompre, just some 30 seconds of your thoughts on how you're proceeding as a board. Mr. Anadompre, if you can hear me, just your brief comments on how you're proceeding as a board as we wrap up on this conversation. We seem to have lost Mr. Dompre on the line. You're watching Joy News Prime with me, Ernest Minu. From energy, let's talk, maritime issues. 2 years after the mysterious disappearance of 29-year-old Ghanaian fishing observer Emmanuel Essien, police say investigations remain inconclusive. Acting Director of Maritime Service Division, Nana Kwabena Boache Buampon, gave this update at a media briefing in Accra. My colleague Faustina Safo sat through the briefing and now reports.
Essien, an employee of the Fisheries Commission, was assigned aboard a Chinese vessel on the 5th of July 2019. The Magazine 15 had set sail for operations from the Tema Fishing Harbour with a 26-member crew made up of 20 Chinese nationals and 6 Ghanaians, including Essien. But at about 7 p.m. on that fateful day, crew members said while operating on Apam waters, they detected that Essien was not on board, forcing the crew to suspend fishing operations in search of him. To date, the search continues as Emmanuel Essien is still missing. Briefing the media on progress reports so far, Acting Director of the Ghana Maritime Service Division, Nana Kwabna Boachi Bwampong, says the authority hands are tied as police investigations 2 years on remains inconclusive.
Emmanuel Essien, who was deployed aboard a fishing vessel by the Fisheries Commission as an observer, we have had engagements with the family. What happens under Ghanaian law is that to declare somebody dead, you should produce the corpse of the person. Currently, the corpse of Mr. Essien are not available. Investigations are inconclusive, and so we have not been able to pronounce him dead. But subsequently, we have had engagements with the Fisheries Commission about how to deploy these observers going forward. But we are still in contact with the family.
In a bid to curb maritime crimes and ward off pirates at sea, the Ghana Maritime Authority says it is stepping up surveillance to protect inland shores. It comes as piracy activities, mainly dominant in the Gulf of Guinea, continue to spread, with Ghana at risk of an invasion. Director General Thomas KOFI Alonsi says they have so far acquired 9 patrol boats from 2018 to date to help security officials do their job.
Piracy has become a topical issue within that sub-region. The Gulf of Guinea has earned an unenviable reputation of being a hotspot for piracy. And I'm sure you have also heard of some piracy activities that border on our own territorial waters that involve some fishing vessels. Now, to deal with this menace, the authority, together with other coastal states, have come together trying to find ways and means of curtailing the incidence of piracy within our territorial waters. One of the measures that have been put in place is the ECOWAS Maritime Security Architecture Stakeholders Meeting. We took place just about a few months ago in Cotonou. It was chaired by one of our own here from the Ghana Maritime Authority. Besides that, we have also put in place measures to ensure that the maritime domain is secure, safe, and free from marine source pollution, while ensuring an environment that promotes growth for national economic development.
The authority is also pushing for the amendment of Section 193 and 194 of the country's piracy laws to give the authority powers to prosecute pirates apprehended within Ghanaian territorial waters.
We have realized that our laws, as they sit on the statute books now, are not adequate when it comes to prosecuting piracy crimes. Sections 193 and 194 of the Criminal Offences Act have a certain gaps in them. So the last time we apprehended some pirates, it became very difficult prosecuting them in the country because of the lacuna in the existing law.
Fisher folks in the Volta Regional Enclave can now heave a sign of relief, as the Maritime Authority says they have removed about 21,003 stumps on the Volta Lake, reducing the number of ferry accidents in the area.
Apart from the human element, i.e. incompetency, overloading and drunkenness of boat operators, the main causes of accidents on the Volta Lake include the absence of defined safe navigational channels. The authority has therefore embarked on the removal of submerged tree stumps that constitute hazards to navigation. So in all, about 21,000 tree stumps from various routes on the Volta Lake have been removed between the years 2018 and 2020.
Faustina Safo, Photo News.
So let's seek some further explanation on security in our waters. Joining us via Zoom is Naval Captain KOFI ANKAMAH, the Deputy Director, Ship Inspections and Maritime Security at the Ghana Maritime Authority. Thank you, sir. We are grateful you could join us. There have been a number of reports on piracy attacks in the Gulf of Guinea in recent times. What is accounting for this?
Well, I hope you can hear me clear.
I can hear you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. The piracy issues, as you just mentioned, is an issue, it's a worldwide issue, and it happens all over the world. But there are some areas of the world where they have been more frequent than others. So they take the front stage and people hear about them. And our area, that's the Gulf of Guinea, has become one of those areas where the piracy issues have come up very often. So it's not that it's something that has just come up, but it has always been there. And maybe now the dynamics have changed, so it has come so clear into the public view.
Okay, so what you're saying is that because of perhaps the media focus on some of these activities, that is why we're hearing a lot of reports about piracy, and the suggestion about the increase may not be accurate. Is that what you're saying?
Not exactly. The piracy, when we use the term piracy generally to include every act of violence or kidnapping that happens at sea. But as per the definition of piracy by the UNCLOS, that's the United Nations Convention on the Law of Sea, that kind of, those activities have been divided into two. Those that happen beyond the jurisdiction or the territorial waters of any coastal state is what internationally defined as piracy. Those attacks against ships within territorial jurisdictions are termed as armed attack or attacks against ships. But for the purpose of this discussion and for the way it's been understood generally, we'll combine all of them as piracy. Okay. But technically, there are differences between what happens in the territorial waters and what happens beyond the territorial waters of Ghana.
Let's bring it home to understand what is happening in Ghana, in terms of specific attacks and activities, and where these pirates are coming from.
Yes. In fact, what I was telling you about the definitions and where it applies is going to lead me to this. This has been going on all the time. The media coverage maybe now accounts for its publicity to that extent. Because if you look at the statistics, these attacks used to be on oil tankers and other container vessels that don't attract so much attention. But quite recently, we have seen a lot of attacks within the Gulf of Guinea against fishing vessels. Not a lot, but because of the results of those attacks, the profile has been highlighted. For example, now, the modus operandi is for them to kidnap persons for ransom.
Okay.
And then when that happens, I think you agree with me. I mean, the whole world will hear people have been captured. But when a vessel has been cornered somewhere and some oil has been siphoned from it, normally it doesn't attract that attention. I have some statistics that will let you have some idea as to the status of activities.
Okay, you can run them by us very briefly so that we can talk about what the GMA is doing to curb this.
Okay. Just to let you know, for example, in 2020, within the first quarter, as we have it, we had attacks of within the territorial waters, as I was mentioning, 43 attacks within the Gulf of Guinea, not in Ghana alone, as against 18 as at this same time this year. And then when you take the EEZ, that's outside the territorial waters, we had 25 last year as at this time. And then as at this time this year, we have 26, something like that. So that is it. Thank you.
So what is the GMA doing about this? I mean, how are you addressing the issue?
Well, GMA, as the coordinator of maritime issues in the maritime environment, we are in coordination or in consultation with other stakeholders like the Ghana Navy, the Ghana Marine Police, and other stakeholders to make sure that we are able to patrol our territorial waters, the harbor areas, and the rest. And then beyond that, yes, the Navy also is encouraged to, and giving the necessary encouragement to do what they are supposed to do. For example, some little statistics that I will also give you here. You realize that most of the attacks happened before 2020. That's before 2021. Happened within the territorial waters and within the ports.
Okay.
But now we had just a few. For example, 47 against 25 at the same time. So Ghana Maritime Authority's acquisition of boats and then the upgrading of our maritime surveillance equipment, which we call the VTMIS, Vessel Monitoring Information System. We are able to really take charge of our territorial waters and ports in coordination with the other stakeholders, as I mentioned, Ghana Navy, the Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority, and the Marine Police.
Well, Captain, very briefly, we understand that you are seeking to amend the laws on piracy. Why is that? What are you seeking to address in this amendment?
Yes. You know, we have provision for piracy in the Act 1960, that's Criminal Offences Act. 1960 at 29. There is a provision for piracy. And also in the UNCLOS, United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, we have a definition and provisions for piracy in there. This is the international standard. We've come to realize that in our Maritime Offences Act, which deals with piracy, we have some shortcomings in there that is not allowing us to be able to prosecute this piracy very, very well.
Okay.
So we are amending it so that it will be in consonance with the UNCLOS Section 101.
Very well.
Which makes provision for the offense.
And that will then give you the authority, the powers, to prosecute persons when arrested for piracy. Thank you very much. That's Naval Captain ANKAMAH helping us understand some of the issues on our maritime, borders. Thank you very much. You're watching Joy News Prime with me, Ernest Meno. On the Joy Clean Ghana campaign, officials of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly to conduct regular raids to prevent squatters from taking over the underbridge of the Kwame Nkrumah interchange.
We're going to continue to pursue this exercise. No matter your structure, when we get you under the overpass, you are loitering around, walking around, we don't know what you're doing, we get you, we'll put you to work.
And later in business, inflation is on the rise again, hitting 9% in July. Statistical Service says the hikes in food prices are a major trigger.
Inflation for the month of July 2021, referencing July 2020, stood at 9.0%, indicates that prices of goods and services over the one-year period, July 2020 and July 2021, have gone up.
And you're welcome to Business. I'm Charles Aite. The inflation has risen again. The rate for the month of July hit 9%, more than 1 percentage point increase. According to the Ghana Statistical Service, the increment was largely influenced by hikes in food commodities during the same period. Announcing the new rates, the government statistician Professor Samuel Kobna-Aining explains that transport and housing were also major contributing factors to the rise in inflation rate. We have more on this in this special report.
For more than a year, the Greater Accra region has been recording very high rate of inflation for both food and non-food inflation. However, it was overtaken by the Upper West region, which recorded the highest inflation rate of 13.5%, greater than the national average. Government statistician Professor Samuel Enim has been explaining to journalists in a press conference.
In Upper West region, we find food and non-alcoholic beverages having the highest percentage in terms of inflation for the month of July 2021 at 20.3, followed by alcoholic beverages, tobacco and narcotics 13.5, keeping in mind that food and non-alcoholic beverages always have the highest weight relative to the other components. From the perspective of Northern region, strictly looking at food inflation, as it stood at 20.5 for the month of July 2021, we find cereal products and vegetables leading with the highest inflation rates, respectively 34.9% and 30.0%. And indeed, it is these two domains that have the highest weights, respectively 5.6 and 5.0. Highlights of July 2021 Consumer Price Index and inflation indicates that prices of goods and services over the one-year period, July 2020 and July 2021, have gone up by 9.0%.
The rate for locally produced items also keep increasing at a faster rate than imported items in the last few months.
Inflation for locally produced items inched up by that we've recorded since April 2020, with Upper West taking the lead of 13.8%, closely followed by Northern region 13.5%. Next is Greater Accra region 11.7%, and as was indicated, this is the first time
to support member countries to fight COVID-19. There were initial reports that Ghana may not be able to withdraw the funds because of some debt obligations due to the IMF. However, Joy Business is learning that those debts...
And then the strength of the banks as predating 2017. But those are hard and courageous decisions that the President encouraged us to do, and the Bank of Ghana of August. I think automatic disbursement to member countries of 100% of their quota will be affected. See areas that are important where the nexus between finance and health meet. It could be, housing. It could be, of course, employment, which is key to us, and a number of other areas such as digitalization, to make sure that it is used well, and leverage to support, the Obatampa program.
And that'll be for business for this segment. In the meantime, sports comes up next. Do stay.
Thanks for staying with us. Time to bring you sports. My name is Hans Mensah Ando, and Black Stars head coach CK Akono is expected to name his squad for the upcoming 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Ethiopia and South Africa. There is more in the following report. The Black Stars head coach will name his squad for next month's FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 qualifiers against Ethiopia and South Africa. The Black Stars are scheduled to host Group G opponent Ethiopia on Friday, September 3 in Cape Coast, before playing Bafana Bafana of South Africa on Monday, September 6, 2021 in Johannesburg. Akono will address the media on Friday, August 13 at a conference room of the Ghana Football Association. Among the players expected to make the cut are skipper Andre Dede Ayew, his brother Jordan Ayew, and Daniel Amate. It is unclear if Thomas Partey will be named after his recent injury in a pre-season game against Chelsea. Akono is also expected to name a number of locally based players, among them Efriye Barnier of Hartlepool and his teammate Richard Atta. Akono is a man on a mission after the Black Stars failed to make the cut for the 2018 FIFA World Cup. Now, President of the Ghana Football Association, Keto Kirku, has warned cowards who are damaging the local game with betting will be dealt with. This comes after recent issues of match fixing in some Ghana Premier League games. Keto Kirku says the GFA is committed to clean up the sport in Ghana to make it attractive for fans and sponsors.
I will not shy away to say this. Our football has and was attacked by faceless cowards. I'm talking about betting. I'm repeating myself. our sport has been attacked by faceless cowards. And it is my responsibility, and it's the responsibility of our executive to defend the passion of the nation. Everybody who has played a part, I'm talking about the faceless cowards, will face it. We'll clean our sports and we'll bring confidence to a sport that fits me, that fits all of us here. A sport that gives hope, aspirations to the entire 30 million people and beyond of this country. If you are here and you know that you played a part, just be ready. Don't call me because you didn't call me when you wanted to play the role. Don't call me. And those who are calling must stop. Those who are calling my phone regarding betting must stop. To quote the former president of America, we would what? We'll chase them out of their hiding places. Bring them to justice.
And that ends the first installment of sports here, but it's 1-0 advantage Chelsea against Villarreal in the UEFA Super Cup, currently ongoing half-time in that game. We'll bring you more later in the bulletin.
And it's now time for the latest in the world of showbiz. Becky's here with all the G's. Hello, Becky.
Yes, yes.
Today it's black.
Yeah, we're all...
What influences your colors?
No, I love black. You know,
okay.
That's what I love.
Okay.
I mean,
but you look good in red as well.
Okay, so you want me to wear red tomorrow?
Just wear what you feel like wearing.
No. Because of you, I wear red tomorrow.
All right, that's fine. What do you have for us today?
Lateef Abubakar's play, Something Must Kill a Man. We have a new date now, or we have dates now. You know, we launched it, and he is actually partnering Joy Entertainment to do this. So he has our full support. So he's been telling us all about what to expect with this particular play.
We are all part of one great big Valentine, and together we will survive.
It's for everybody because it's a natural play for people who want to have fun, who want to entertain themselves, laugh out loud, crack their ribs. I mean, we'll bring extra ribs, that's not a problem. But it's a normal play that everybody can watch, just like we do Thank God for Idiots and so on and so forth. It's hilarious.
I was on the 2nd and on the 3rd and the 4th of September?
Yep, 7 p.m. each night. So we're doing just one show a night.
Okay.
Yeah, so 7 p.m. and then...
You're doing 3 days?
Yeah, 3 days. That's a Thursday, Friday, and a Saturday. Thursday specifically because most of the corporate organizations want a weekday for their trainings.
Okay. And then they come back on Friday?
Yeah, to have fun.
Have fun Saturday?
Yeah, some people do. Naturally, some people do. They come on 2 days.
Okay.
Naturally with our place. So, because you laugh out loud, you want to come and enjoy a game.
Yeah, we gotta sanitize, we gotta wash our hands, we gotta wear our masks, we gotta social distance, we gotta cover.
This is definitely going to be something else.
You have to see this play, and it's happening at the
Lateef is
Labadi.
amazing. He is.
He is.
Look, let me tell you, Uncle Lateef and Chief Moment, anytime, any day.
Okay. So we're inviting you. You have to be there. Let's talk about the beef that is trending or has been trending since morning. I'm not too sure, but my checks tells me that Amrado hasn't released anything yet. You know.
Are you sure?
Okay, so what happened was an interview or something, a line of something that Amrado said. You know,
that's the Team Westwood interview.
Yeah, Westwood interview.
Just so David knows that I know something.
Oh, I know you do. So we woke up. No, it was I think last night. Obibini decided that he will release, you know, this song because of what Amrado said. So for the benefit of those who don't have any idea of what I'm talking about, let's pick that Obibini district. So
interesting captions.
So
after disease and then the throne.
The throne. So after the release of the throne, you know, some people are saying that so Amrado won the game. Then Obibini came back again with Carcass. All right, so this, Ernest, we're not rappers, right? I mean, I think David and the rest of the people, Evans, no, they can explain better who won this game. But we're waiting for Amrado's response. Until then, we'll move on and talk about Beyonce. Okay. Beyonce, for years now, she hasn't, you know, had any conversation with anybody. She's been talking about how she manages, you know, the stardom that she has. Queen B, and also she teases some new music coming up. Of course, we can't wait. We hope that, you know, some Ghanaian artists apart from Shatta Wale will be on that new music that's Beyonce's.
Well, let's see.
Hopefully.
Let's see how that goes.
We're not too sure.
Thank you very much, Becky, for bringing us the latest in the world of showbiz. And we have more news for you after this. Please stay. Thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Prime. Police in Asokwa have arrested 2 relatives of a 10-year-old boy alleged to have committed suicide at Atonsu S-Line in Kumasi. The body of Paul Boatin, a Class 3 pupil of Dompoasi MA School, was discovered Tuesday afternoon hanging on a nylon net tied to a ceiling fan in one of the bedrooms at the family's home. Police say the 2 relatives, Eric Jima and Yao Akwako Sapon, have been given conflicting accounts on the issue. Ohim Interior of our security desk has more in the following report.
Relatives were thrown into a state of shock after the discovery of the body of the Class 3 people hanging on a nylon rope attached to the ceiling fan. Police say Yao Akwako Sapon, a relative, returned from work in the afternoon to see the body in one of the bedrooms. A kitchen stool and a ladder was found besides the body of the deceased. Asokwa District Police Commander, Superintendent Christopher Mpianin, explains why the 2 men were picked up.
One of them, we gathered information that he was around or he was in the house. But according to him, he has also gone out. He was not there. So which is which? Whether those who saw him and were saying he was in the house are telling the truth or they're also lying to us. So we needed to also go further to find out whether he was around. But however, there were no marks on the body. No marks were seen on the body after a careful inspection of the body that was picked from the room. So we cannot confirm that any of the 2 might have done anything to the boy physically or not.
Police say the deceased has been living with a 70-year-old woman for the last 3 years.
He's Paul Boatin, a pupil of Dompoasi MA Primary School, and was staying with one Cecilia Jima, a 70-year-old woman. And according to information that we have gathered, the young boy is a son of a friend of this Cecilia Jima, and they are both at Ijura in the Ashanti region. So he was staying with the old lady. And this unfortunate incident happened yesterday.
Behind me is the family house in which the late Paul Boatin, a Class 3 pupil of Dompoasi MA Basic School, lived with other relatives until his demise on Tuesday afternoon. I've been trying to speak to other residents who live in this vicinity, but they are tight-lipped, except one person who tells me once the issue is under police investigations, he wouldn't want to comment on the matter. Circumstances surrounding the death of the boy remains a mystery. Not even police can understand what influenced the 10-year-old boy's decision to commit suicide. Superintendent Christopher Mpianin is among those shocked by the incident.
That is what also baffles me, and I'm trying to find answers to that. What would have been the reason why a boy of such age will commit suicide? What in this life will push a boy of this age that I have to end it all. And there was no note written by this boy. He didn't leave anything behind. So it's a mystery that we're all trying to solve.
For now, police in Asokwa have been investigating the matter to unravel the mystery behind the death of Paul Boatin, a Class 3 pupil of Dompasi MA Basic School here in Kumasi. My name is Ohim Interior.
Officials of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly Thursday invaded makeshift homes of squatters under the bridges of the three-tier Kwame Nkrumah interchange. The raid, which is part of the Joy Clean Ghana campaign, is aimed at clearing all squatters who are under the €74 million interchange and generating waste. Manuel Cranton was with the team and our reports.
Today we're going to tackle all junkies that anybody will find him under the bridge without any reason for you to find yourself there. The bridge, under the bridge, is not a place of abode for anybody. So we get you, we put you onto the ground, you will sweep, and today we're going to make...
Head of Environmental Health Unit at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Joseph Asitanga, explaining the focus of the day's exercise. But even before the main target of the outing, the underbridge of the three-tier Kwame Nkrumah interchange could be reached, there was already so much to do.
They were urinating outside, anywhere at all. They were dumping the thing. Whom were they expecting to come and collect? They should collect their own filth.
They were immediately given brooms to get to work.
All shops, all restaurant frontages, they are responsible for cleaning their frontages, as well as bus stops. They are also responsible. Now, we got here this morning. The strategy we adopted is we came to stay around to observe, to see those who are littering. So when we stayed, we realized that even the drivers themselves, when they come, they sweep and collect their refuse and keep it tightly before they dispose it off. But the people around, they cause the mess. They drink the sachet, they throw it anywhere. They stand any place, they pee. And that is why we are taking those people to be responsible for what they are doing.
Soon, the work was done and it was time to hit the underbridge.
You see our presence here in the morning. You can testify how the place was. Yes, this is because it contains moisture. That's why you can still see this thing here. But we'll make sure that we'll follow it up with the taxi drivers to ensure that this thing, they clear it out. They have a refuse bin here. And we'll make sure that the refuse bin will translate in collecting this one. Rest everybody around there. You see from this stretch. Yeah. Yes. We're going to put them to work. So I'm deploying my people around. Anybody like these items here, they are all junkies and they are the people littering the place. All of them. We're going to pick them and bring them back to clean here. So we are arresting them. When we get a good number of them, we'll put them here.
Not even the rocks planted as spikes could stop the squatters from occupying the pavements of the €74 million interchange. Some slept on cardboards in the plain space and will only be awoken by the noise from AMA officials. There were piles of clothes in jute bags hidden under the metallic beams of the overhead. But they were ordered to pack out and leave.
My boss, what's your name?
Kwesi Date.
Kwesi Date. Yeah. Why you sleep here?
Oh, we be here where they sleep.
Here where you sleep every day?
Yeah.
Oh, we here in the bed. Why in the bed here?
Everybody they feel the can bed. We do some to the bed there.
Talk to me, you don't get how.
Oh, you know, say I don't get how, but the other way we did our.
Oh. Did you hustle for here? Yeah. Where you from?
Me are from Adan. We sweep the wide and that way they live.
This work, I'll let you go.
We sweep the way they live.
What did they do for here? What did they do for here?
I carry Kaya.
They carry Kaya. Where you from?
I'm from Volta.
From Volta. When you come Accra?
2016.
2016. So since 2016, you did a rooftop.
Yeah.
So where you sleep?
I sleep the cemetery side.
Sleep for the cemetery side. You don't fear ghosts?
No.
Why you not fear ghosts?
I didn't do any bad against nobody, so I didn't fear.
I don't get father and my mother in this earth. That one I live my life for the estate, and me I work the estate. I see this place if I sleep here.
Today's work alone is a wake-up call to people living within the enclave of Circle. Today is not the only day. We're going to continue to pursue this exercise to pursue this exercise, no matter your structure. When we get you under the overpass, you are loitering around, walking around, we don't know what you're doing, we get you, we'll put you to work.
Stark contrast between the reality and what we see on the wall here. Trash goes here under the auspices of the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources. A 500-meter walk from this particular point reveals no available trash bin for use. So motorists, pedestrians, and even the squatters have resorted to littering the entire area. This is what has necessitated a visit by officials of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. For now, though, they insist they will regularize this particular exercise to get people to clean the area. How sustainable is that? It waits to be seen. Reporting for Joy News, my name is Manuel Kranting.
Chairman of the National Peace Council, Reverend Dr. Ernest Edujemfi, says the council has in the last 3 weeks been engaging indigents of the Volta region to address their concerns over being marginalized. According to Dr. Edujemfi, a section of Voltarians are unhappy with government's approach to dealing with their challenges. These include failed political promises, lack of sea defense wall, the alleged military invasion during the 2020 mass registration exercise, among others. The engagement, according to him, comes on the back of demands by the Volta secessionists. In an interview with Kwesi Parker-Wilson, he said government must not ignore these early warning signs, adding that a report on their findings will soon be presented to government for the necessary action to be taken.
Now, there are a few things that have come in, and sometimes when you ignore these early warning signs, it leads to other things. We saw the issue of the secessionist group. We've seen Fix the Country. Once you see all these things, there are indications of things that could happen if we don't tackle these things properly.
So is Fix the Country and early warning sign together as far as our peace is concerned?
Not necessarily, but for us as a peace council, we see some of these things as necessary interventions that must be provided. And so for us, as we handle soft security, it's important to get into some of these issues as quickly as possible, deal with them. For the past 3 weeks, we've been in the Volta region, holding various consultations and to deal with why the Voltarians feel that they have been marginalized. And it's been revealing to see some of the things that we've discovered over there, to hear their concerns and all of those things. And sometimes you need people just who are ready to listen to you. So that's what we do. And all of these things that we do is to equip all our team so that we know exactly what to do at any given time to deal with the possible threats. But in terms of threats and all the issues going on around the Sahel, Burkina Faso, Mali, and then coming down to the northern part of our country are issues that are of concern. And it's important to understand how these threats begin, and then we put ourselves in readiness so that in case anything happens, we're ready as a country to face them.
We'll come to that, but you mentioned about the Volta region, how they feel they are marginalized. What is the specific intervention that you are putting in place to deal with it? Because you know that that's where the secessionist groups are coming from.
Yeah, we just concluded the project last Friday. Okay. So we put together a report, but there are a lot of things that we've heard from them, from sea defense to border crossing to villages that are in between Ghana and Togo with a road dividing them, how they are treated when it comes to registration and all. We heard all of those things. We're putting together a report to present to the government so that they will look at the issues and see what they can do in terms of some of those things.
And in your view, if some of these things are not checked, probably it could undermine the stability of the country.
Yes, it could. It could. And so where we see those things, we give early warning signs also to the government to prompt them that these are things that you need to pay attention to. And sometimes some of them come even through political promises. In their campaigning, you promise you will do this, you do that, you do that. And then you come to power, you don't do them. So people become agitated. But it's important to draw attention to all those issues so that the government becomes aware of how the people feel and what interventions they can introduce to ensure that there will be stability and peace.
So how soon will this report get to the government?
We're working. We've done the first bit of it. Probably by mid of next week thereabout, we should be able to finalize that.
Now, Dr. Edu Jemfi also revealed that the Peace Council is planning to meet conveners of the Fix the Country campaign. The council fears their actions, if not checked, could undermine the stability of the country.
Yeah, we hope to engage them along the line. We don't leave anything to chance as far as our work is concerned. And sometimes we do most of these things quietly, so people don't even notice that we're doing them. But it's important that we engage them, listen to them. Sometimes people want to be heard. So once you give them the platform to talk, it opens the door, and then you're able to put a finger on exactly what the issues are.
But clearly, violent demonstrations are a warning sign that we need to check.
Yeah, I mean, nobody expects that demonstrations are legal, but it need not be violent. And I'm sure some of the things that have been in discussion, I heard even on your own network, people complaining about burning of tires on the road and the effect on the road. Now, these are things that we need to speak against and ensure that you have a right to demonstrate, but do it peacefully. And it's the most important about demonstration is that I have an issue and I want people to hear me. So once you presented your issue, that is it. Leave it there and let the appropriate authorities handle it.
Residents of Kenyase Eduman in the Kwabre East District of the Ashanti region have blocked the main Kenyase Eduman road to protest its deplorable state. The protest disrupted traffic on that stretch as the protesters mounted barriers and burnt car tires, leaving commuters stranded. Attempts by the police to control the protests were fiercely resisted.
There was heated argument between the police and the protesting residents. The police tried to disperse the demonstrators and remove the barricade, but the angry protesters resisted the move. It took the intervention of the police reinforcement to calm the situation. Some angry protesters spoke to Atom News.
I was born in 1954. I have never seen our road tarred. They always deceive us to vote for them. I am an MPP chairperson. I am an asthmatic patient. I always buy medicine. And I expected the president to fix my road. I have stayed here for 60 years, but I have never seen any tarred road in this community. They always start and never finice.
This roadblock is not intentional. We just want our road fixed.
Stone chips meant for the construction are left on the road. The residents want the road fixed as promised by the government prior to the 2020 election. According to the unit committee chairman Yawinsia, the contractor left the site after the election.
The drivers complain about the stones on this road. They can easily cause an accident. The contractor says he's not been paid, and that is why he has left the site.
Reporting for Joy News, Nana Awuku Denchambo.
Now, there's been an increase in the call for journalists to specialize. Now, this to aid this agenda, the Ghana Institute of Journalism has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Ghana Statistical Service and the United Nations Development Programme to carry out media capacity building and development, as well as education in statistical data communication. Theophilus Saki's report read to you.
The Ghana Statistical Service, in partnership with the United Nations Development Programme UNDP, will from September 2021 fund the training of journalists through the Ghana Institute of Journalism on how to advocate for data-driven policy, decision-making, planning, monitoring and evaluation. Director for Census and Surveys at the Ghana Statistical Service, Abna Osei Akoto, explained the reasons behind the initiative.
The Statistical Service has been coming up with statistics, and the media has been helping us in bringing the statistics up and getting it appreciated. But they're coming up, they will also need what went into the production of the statistics, interpreting it right, and also appreciating the use of it. So this brought about the need for us to have partnership to help educate the journalists in appreciating the statistics being churned out by Statistical Service, what went into the processing of the statistics, in order for them to also appreciate it and interpret them rightly.
Economic advisor for UNDP, Frederick Mugisha, said the objective of this partnership is to ensure journalists are able to interpret and present accurate reports.
So the real objective is to make sure that we bridge this gap between statistics and change in people's lives. The journalists have a very big role to play, to inform the public, to hold us accountable, but also to shape the development conversation. What should the country be looking at? And what statistics does, it helps bring that into perspective. And while we can do that without statistics, when we have statistics, it is easier for everybody. And so if you can imagine this partnership that Ghana Statistical Service and Ghana Institute of Journalism are undertaking, it means that because it is kind of a modular, you go through several stages. It means at any one stage, you can be able to do certain things. But it also means that even when you are not a journalist, like me, I can enroll and learn so I can be able to do my work better. So that's really the point.
When we return from this break, Charles Aite will bring you more business news and we'll have some sports. Please stay.
Yeah, welcome back to business. And in our first story, a board has been constituted by, that's for the Ghana Cocoa Regulatory Authority, Cocoa Board. The chairman of the board, Peter McMahon, has told Joy Business that this board will fast-track all cocoa-related policies and put the farmer first. There is more in this report. Inaugurating the 11-member board, the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Usufi Akoto, charged members of the board to address challenges faced cocoa production, from timely payment of cocoa farmers to the marketing of the commodity.
We need to look at how we are going to make sure that the financing of the bigger crop is done without impeding on the finances of the farmers. Because as you know, we've had quite a lot of complaints from farmers about delayed payments. Of course, that is partly due to the COVID, which caused a reduction in world demand for cocoa beans, which meant that we couldn't sell forward all the crop by the end of 2020. We are hoping that with a pickup in the world economy, the demand will be re-established. We'll be able to dispose of all the cocoa that we are expecting to harvest in the coming year.
The chairman of the board, Peter McMahon, is confident of some positive turnarounds for the sector. He tells Joy Business cocoa farmers will be prioritized in all policy direction that his outfit embarks on.
It is our intention as a board to improve upon the achievements achieved so far under former board, to bring the cocoa industry to another level that will bring more revenue in terms of foreign exchange to Ghana, our motherland.
You also stated that you're going to push some specific policies that hitherto, to fast track the entire process of making the sector viable. Which particular policies are you referring to, and how are you going to do that?
I'm referring to the PEP, Productivity Enhancement Program. Productivity Enhancement Program aims at increasing the output per acreage. So, like I said earlier, it will involve irrigation, pollination, and others, so that within the same acreage, the farmer will produce more and earn more. That's why we call productivity enhancement programs. And we're going to continue with that so that the farmer will get more products and earn more.
The 11-member board includes the Chief Executive of Cocoa Board, Joseph Boahen Adu, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Charles Edu Boahen, among others. Meanwhile, Cocoa Board has started data collection in the Ashanti region as part of implementation of the cocoa management systems. The exercise, when completed, will enhance traceability, prevent smuggling of cocoa beans, and reduce operational costs by 30%. Cocoa Board's Deputy CEO, Emmanuel Boko, is positive the successful implementation will encourage high annual cocoa production. Prince Apia has more in the following report.
Cocoa farms, farmers and their households are being registered across the cocoa producing regions for the cocoa management system. Data collection for the Western South region is already completed. Officials say registration in the Ashanti region will soon begin as part of the effective implementation of the system nationwide. Emmanuel Poku is the Deputy CEO of Cocoa Board.
When we register you, we give you number one, the address of your farm, which you can use for financial transactions with your bankers. And then number two, an ID with a unique number. That number is what you're going to use for all your cocoa transactions, whether it is sales of your beans or purchase of inputs. So without which you cannot sell cocoa when the system is fully operational. At the end of the day, we will have every cocoa farm address in a database. And we're going to use that to improve the services that we give to farmers. That is the cocoa sales, that's input deliveries to farmers, and then many other things. And we expect that the introduction of cocoa management system will reduce the cost of operations of this industry by about approximately a third.
Available records show that Ghana has already exceeded the ambitious 1 million tons of cocoa production for this year. Mr. Opoko is positive the successful implementation of the CMS will push production targets higher.
We only have ended the 4th week, but the live crop runs for 11 to 12 weeks. So we still have about 8 weeks, approximately 8 weeks to go. And so we know that we are exceeding this previous record significantly by the end of the season. But at the end of the season, I believe we'll tell you the success story that we have had so far for the 2020-2021 cocoa season.
Emmanuel Opoku spoke at an event to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the Federated Commodities Limited (FEDCO) in Kumasi. Haja Maria Adamuzibo is the managing director for FEDCO.
We have worked with a lot of farmers, paying them monies for cocoa, not only for cocoa but for premium, giving them the necessary training, doing the CSR that I mentioned, building schools, boreholes and all that, I believe has impacted a lot of the farmers and their lives. Over the past 25 years, for the company to still continue to have their farmers, their group of farmers, tells you that there is something about us that we do that they're happy about.
Meanwhile, some hard-working farmers were awarded for their contribution to the growth of the cocoa business.
I work on the farms with my laborers. I do my best to get good yield. This tricycle awarded me can help make work on the farm easier.
Prince Apia reporting.
Well, Guinness Ghana Brewery Limited has rewarded loyal customers through the Yenyumbom program. The program aims to transform the relationship between the brewery and its customers from a transactional to a partnership. At the launch of the third edition of this initiative, the overall winner, Festus Mensah, took home a truck, whereas other beneficiaries were awarded with air conditioners, microwaves, among others. There's more in this report.
Owner of T-Base Enterprise, Festus Mensah, has been announced as the overall winner of the Yenyumbom, an initiative by Guinness Ghana Brewery Limited to strengthen partnership with their customers. Overjoyed, Festus had this to say.
In actual fact, I was surprised because the Sunday I had about 3 calls from some of these top executives, big men of Guinness Ghana Limited. And they asked me to attend this very program. And but when you asked, they said for my special award because I've done so well. But I never expected that I was going to win this track. Now the track is with me, and I'm so happy. And I'm sure this track is going to help me expand the business the more, so I do more. I'm highly elated, and it has really empowered me to do more, using my customers to do more business for Guinness Ghana Limited. Yes.
Channel manager at Guinness Ghana and lead for the Yenyumbom, Walisa Osman, explained the rationale behind the initiative and why it's important for the company.
This activity is for our customers. Together we are growing with them. The initiative was to celebrate them, to recognize them for their efforts in our business. So basically that is it. So it's a group of retailers and wholesalers. They have volumes to deliver every month and get exciting rewards at the end of the day. So the rewards are in the form of monthly rewards, quarterly rewards, and then the annual prizes. And we try to introduce some new mechanics to it to create the excitement and then to make it more appealing to our customers. So yeah, it varies from year to year.
Meanwhile, Divisional Sales Manager for Greater Accra, Central and Western Regions, John Podro, says this initiative is a parameter to addressing feedback from customers.
Programs like this allow you to be able to make tweaks on a monthly basis, as and when you go through, taking feedback from our customers. And we do that all the time. You don't just address feedback once and step away, but we always have to listen to the feedback, which we do very well. And every month, if there's need to make iterations, we do that and then we communicate back to them. People that we serve directly as Guinness Ghana are in excess of 60,000, right? And what we do is to look out for the strongest of these partners, right, who can sort of reach out to the next tier of customers that we actually don't have the ability to reach out to. So if someone wants to be part of this program, the first thing is to actually be a dealer in our product, right? You have to be a wholesaler, you have to be a retailer, you have to deal in our products. That is the first step to qualify. But you also have to prove to us that you have an interest in our business, in our brands as well, and you have been successful over time in building a strong partnership with us.
Yenyumbom has only 1,500 wholesalers and retailers nationwide enlisted to benefit from Guinness Ghana. The brewery, through this program, sends loyal and hard-working customers for the month money to invest in their businesses, taking into consideration the COVID-19 pandemic.
And that's how we end business. International business news summary will be up next, after which we have sports this day.
second installment of Sport. I am Hans Mensah Andor. Lionel Messi has been unveiled by Liga giant PSG after signing a 2-year deal. The Argentine has made it clear his ambition is to win the UEFA Champions League with a French side. Messi left Barcelona, the only club he's played for, as they were unable to afford a new deal under La Liga's financial fair play rules. Now, the first batch of Ghana's contingent for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games have arrived in the country. The contingent, made up of mainly officials of the Ghana Olympic Committee, touched down at the Kotoka International Airport with the Olympic torch. Ghana entered the Games with a solitary medal, a bronze medal secured by boxer Samuel Techi.
Team Ghana, dominated by Ghana Olympic Committee officials, including its president, Benunu Mensah, arrived in the country with the Olympic torch at the Kotoka International Airport on Tuesday afternoon, and they were in high spirit.
You can read more at myjoyonline.com/sports. My name is Hans Mensah Andor. That's it from me.
Log on to myjoyonline.com. Aisha Ibrahim is coming up next with PM Express, and we're looking at how we can plug the leakages at the Electricity Company of Ghana following the revelations of the massive losses that have been recorded in their transaction. We'll have energy expert Ojo Poko on the show, and Edward Bauer, who is a member of the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament. You want to stay for this conversation.